Behind every crime lies a story waiting to be uncovered, from chilling mysteries to untold truth. This is where the darkness comes to light.
Ring buzz lights up the air, faces tense as stories tear, truth and lies like a tango dance. Justice here takes no chance. Gavel strikes, hearts beat fast. Witness takes stand, shadows cast. Whispers loud like wildfire spread. In this game, none's ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi. Oh, hello, Anna. Hi. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Zio. Hello, people from the future. If you're watching this on a replay, hello. Um, I'm like, I don't want to put, but I wanted to cover this because our friend Lori. Oh, I missed you guys as well. I had one day off, and today I was doing some research, and you know that during the week when we are doing a trial, there is a lot of things that I want to cover and sentencings that I want to hear or watch and stuff that I want to watch, the trials openings and stuff that I want to watch. But because we are in like during a trial, we don't have the time. So I was thinking, and with the help of Zio as well, I was thinking maybe on Sundays. It's not probably going to be every Sunday because obviously, I still want to enjoy a day off with garden bot and everything. But hey, Benny, happy Sunday! Hello, good morning, Kara. Hi. So I was thinking that on Sundays, maybe not every Sunday, maybe every other Sunday or something. Um, we can do a little bit of a catch up and a true crime and chill and just watch something, hang out for like an hour or two or something. Not gonna be like a long stream, but at least we get something. We get out there, we get to hang out a little bit by. Oh, Oblivion, that sounds nice, Kara. Absolutely enjoy. It's the weekend. So today I was thinking that we could do two things. We can cover the Lori Vallow uh, latest motion on the that she filed because she wants a new trial, and then there's a sentencing that we can hear as well, and then like if you guys like it, if you want to, yes, Looney Lori, of course we have to talk about Looney Lori. Um, so she's been up to it. So we could start kind of doing that, like on the weekends or either Saturday, either Sunday. Depends how life goes. We'll see. Obviously, probably not going to be every Sunday or every weekend because real life and everything. But absolutely. Uh, of course, she's at it again, Hannah. She's not gonna stop, and she will never stop. So I'm gonna share my screen for the motion the Looney Lori has uh, filed. But before that, make sure you press the like button, you share the stream out, share the channel, get the world out there, and yeah. So she is determined to make sure that she everyone knows about her green chicken enchiladas are the goat, and she knows Charles and his. Yeah, I know. She was all the subject all the time, and she's just such a Looney Tune. So I got the whole document, the whole 13 pages of it, and I was thinking, let me make myself smaller. And I was thinking we could see what she says and then laugh about it and have a discussion about it. So yeah, um, ooh, tried to sue one of the jails she was. What is that? Letitia Stalls. Yeah. So this is a motion for a new trial that Lorivallow Dingbell has filed. Hello, happy Sunday, Sherry. Good morning. Hello, missy seeing you. How are you, my friend? Happy Sunday. Yes, I think it's gonna be denial, but she has to do her due processes. So Let's get started. Apologies in ahead about the rating, but my reader fell through today. I still love him. Uh, but Lord, oh, Kara, put those two in a cell together. Can you throw Sarah Boone in it as well? And who else? Who else could you throw in that room that would make things interesting? So Sarah Boone, lorivallow, Letitia in that one. Who else, guys? Shall we put in a room together just to see the interactions? That would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But whew, let's get started. I have my water, Hannah. I have it next to me. I've also had Guarana, one of those drinks that I got from the Portuguese shopping. Um, oh, like a make a sitcom. Arlene who's that? Who is that, Hannah? I have no clue. No clue. Sarah Booney, Lauren, Letitia. Yes. It's fine. We understood it was Sarah Boone. Don't worry, Kara. Right. Let's get started. In the Superior Court of the State of Arizona, in and for the County of Maricopa. See, Andy and thank you. And we miss you too, girl. Sarah Boone, I wonder who else. Let me know who else should be in that room. Definitely. We miss you as well, Sherry. I understand the Karen Reid one. So Laurie Daybell requests that the court grant her a new trial. This motion is filed pursuant to the protections ruled by Rule 24.1 of the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure, the Fifth Amendment Due Process Clause of the United States Constitution. Just a side note, I'm not going to read laws or articles, so I'm just going to jump that one. Oh, Casey Anthony. Well, she's free, but she's a legal advocate, she said. So she can be thrown back too. Absolutely. Throw Casey Anthony in there, huh? Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Just shove her in there. Right. Right. Let's go. Memoranda of the points and authorities. First one, juror misconduct. On April 28th, 2025, it came to the attention of this defendant's adversary counsel and later the court that jury 15, remember, jury 15, I know, jury 15 was the one that was found with the cell phone in the courtroom as well. Jury 15 made a statement indicating that he had knowledge of this defendant's prior conviction. He also indicated that he was learning towards a not guilty vote up until yesterday and through deliberations. But he was excused, wasn't it? So, what's she talking about? Um, this prior conviction involved the homicide of their children in Idaho in 2023. The defendant did not testify in this trial, and this conviction was not presented by the state as a Rule 404B. I said I was not going to read rules, but oh well. Other act evidence that as juror 15 should not have learned about this information. But juror 15 was excused. So what is it she talking about? Jury 15 did not deliberate, did he? Or am I confused? I think he was excused, wasn't it? Because everyone was like, "Oh, jury 15 was excused because it was the juror, sorry, that was on the cell phone or the cell phone pinged or whatever." So anyway, so yeah, she will leave them to understand their cases and advocate for them. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. And she's free, and then people will not gonna hurt all my days and Casey Anthony. So because this case was a high profile matter, once the jury was released from his admonition, jurors were free to speak with media. During an interview, jury 15 was asked about his reaction upon learning about this defendant's prior conviction. He stated the following: I feel sorry for her. Driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. Well, she should have spent a little bit more. I know exactly. Oh my days! I think she's a bit lunatic. But anyway, all of them. Um, but I'm not sure about jury 15. Jury 15 was the juror that was excused. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I do not understand because of his comments. And I'll show you what was his comments. Because I got, oh, where did I put? I should have had this ready, Katya. Because I did I clipped a video. Oh, where is it? Here. Let me share this tab instead now. Wow, I wish I could just jump in through tabs on this one here. That is the juror that
didn't miss anything.
spoke after the trial. So
To make sure that we were 100% on what we were choosing to do. Probably 10 out of 12 of us were certain. The other two, we helped them go back to what they needed to learn to kind of make up their mind.
You know, I feel sorry for her, you know.
that's jury 15. For all that purpose and intent, that's jury 15 that is on the screen right now.
Driving home yesterday, I'm just like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though, I mean, that's awful thing to do. I mean, there's something wrong up there, but
right. So I don't understand what he meant there, right? Because like she's something is wrong up there, so she should pay for her mistakes. She should not say, oh, she should get it not guilty just because something is all wrong up there. Well, she unalived a bunch of people. She should pay for each and every single one of you. I have, oh, that is true. I could go through, we could check that out, because I have somewhere, obviously somewhere, when there's when they started deliberating. Let me go on a playlist of the Lori Daybell thing. Hang on. Verdict watch. I think that's the one. Hang on. Ugh, I don't want to hear my own voice. Right, we were already parole. No, I think we went straight. Okay, that's not it. That's not the video. I think, yeah, this one. Closing arguments. That was her closings. Hang on. Was it before? I know you're making me work. How rude, Hannah. I mean, God, you're making me work. Right. Now, was it before they went on the deliberation, wasn't it? Is this a break? I don't know. All right. This is closings. Closings. Was it before closings or after closings that they got excused? I think it was after closings. Right. I think it was after closings. Just okay. Here you go. I think it's around here. I believe after closings. Yeah. Okay. I think I found it, but let me. I'm just zooming through it to see. I don't know. Ah, found it. Found it. Thank you, Hannah. I did found it. It was after the thing. So let's have a look. There we go. Oh my days. See, you can see me. It's not live, but you can see me. But at least I'm there.
12 of you can deliberate. At this time, we're going to choose the alternate jurors by random lot here. So we have our scientific method here of random numbers.
14.
Juror 14.
5.
Juror 5. I don't think you're 5. Well, maybe you are. Okay, so
Oh, it was 14-5, and someone said no. 114 got excused. Why did I thought it was 15? I was wrong there. Oops, my bad. Was 14-5 that got dismissed. So 15 did deliberate. Oh. Oh. Oh, guys, I mean, uh-oh, this is no bueno. This is not good. Because, like, I'm putting the document up again. Going to what he said, it was leaning, like, made a statement that he had knowledge of this defendant's prior convictions. He also indicated that he was leaning towards a not guilty up until yesterday and through deliberations, because this was after the verdict. That interview we saw was literally after the verdict. So they did deliberate on that day where I showed you guys the which jurors got dismissed. They did deliberate for about 15 minutes, and then they decided to go home, and then they came back the next day and finished deliberating. So if it did actually say that, because it said during an interview during 15, asked about his reaction upon learning about this defendant's price. He stated, I feel sorry for her. Driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison. So either someone in the jury makeup knew about that, and when they deliberated those throughout those 15 minutes knew, or wasn't this, I am not sure, Kara. I'm not sure if it wasn't, but I think it was. um oh, Hannah, I don't honestly don't want to, I don't want to, but because I mean she still has another one through to go through with Brandon. So yes, they had 2 jurors on. I think it might have been, uh but that's the thing. So if he knew of her convictions, and that's but oh wow, that could be a problem. I'm not gonna say anything, but I think that could be absolutely a problem, a very big problem. And that might, oh, not again. Oh, like, oh, Laurie, why do you say that? Do this? Can you imagine? Like, she still has the Brandon Burdo trial to go through, right? And now there is a possibility. How can they find a juror again in Arizona, right, for a second trial for Brandon, and then for a possible third trial? Because I mean, there's a high possibility that they might have. Yeah. Oh, that was this guy that as well went. Wow. How they can find an impartial juror on her? Is it? I know a bench trial is only like the one requested or something, but like a trial at this point should have been already. Yeah. Well, definitely. Like I think in England that's the only place they can find a place that she doesn't they don't know about her, or just give her a bench trial. I know it's probably not fair and whatever, and she might kick, but it's the only way, because who doesn't know about her, or using another type of juror from other place, and then not just for Maricopa County, but even then you cannot go to Idaho, because everyone knows Laurie in Idaho. Where you gonna go to? Nebraska? Probably they don't know her there. I don't know. It's just crazy, right? That he didn't had 3 jurors on, so she couldn't have waited. That that can hurt a lot, and I can see a judge granting a new trial or a jury interview based upon this. I mean, we had that situation of the Maya Kowalski case, the civil case from Florida against the hospital, that they had to do a whole jury number one uh, mini trial type thing because of this. I absolutely, Hannah, poor Charles family, maybe having to go through this again because this is why it's like I love covering trials, and this is why like people take some trials way so out of proportional. They make them such a bit high big thing in the media because then happens this, you know. Oh yeah, what just when you're done with like I don't mind covering trials and talk about it, the trials and everything, but then just because such a dangerous thing of like tampering with the jury and everything, and it's just sensitive things. Not like she's gonna walk on this because she's never gonna get out of prison, but it's just this justice for Charles now, and it's just, oh my days, that can create a lot of mess. And I kind of feel really really bad for the family of Charles. But right, point two, moving on. Pre-inclusion of Tyler Ryan and Alex Cox's statements and impermissible expert testimony by Detective Daniel Coons. I do not remember who Daniel Coons was. But anyway, prior to trial, the court precluded this defendant from presenting to the jury any of Tyler Ryan or Alex Cox's statements. Both of these people were present during the shooting of Charles Vallow, and thus some of their statements were not hearsay as they show effect or on listener pursuant to Arizona rules of evidence. Right, but Tylee couldn't testify because you, Lori, murdered her, and Alex couldn't testify because he was very mysteriously dead. So they could, but they would not be good to you because if you actually saw it, the interviews we did saw and we did catch up on them. The interviews so was so incoherent and so crazy that it did not make sense. Um, so she's saying basically that she wanted the statements included, but because they were not hearsay. Well, in a way, yeah, but there was no other way to confirm that because we couldn't cross-examine. So it was just to help you and not nothing else. But because the state couldn't cross-examine that, so the state filed a motion in limine, throwing a blanket hearsay objection over the entire of the statements. The court indicated that in the pretrial ruling that it would, at least to Alex Cox's statement, take it on a statement-by-statement basis. During trial, this defendant was precluded from even discussing that Alex conducted a walkthrough, much less his statements with Chandler police detectives during that walkthrough. Is he mentioning a walkthrough of the house? Probably not really sure where there, but could be. I don't think she's right on this one. Then in state's case in chief, and some expert testimony from the scene agent, Detective Daniel Guns. This defendant objected to his testimony as an expert witness based on a lack of foundation and her not having had time to rebut his professional opinion. Again, this defendant was precluded from discussing Alex Cox, the shooter walkthrough that was conducted with several Chandler police detectives, including Detective Coons. This walkthrough was precluded as an inadmissible hearsay. However, it formed the basis for Detective Coons' questioning with the medical examiner and how he then investigated this case as Alex Cox indicated. He shot the victim in self-defense. I don't think so. It's just I hmm she doesn't it doesn't make sense this to me, to be fair. I don't like the juror thing. Yes, this absolutely no. Now, point. Oh, okay. I cannot say that word, Hannah. it's very hard for me to say. Elicited? Maybe elicited. Yeah, I know, Hio. It's this part I'm a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. On April 14th, my birthday. What happened on my birthday? Part on April 14th, 2025, during trial, Miss Trina Kai produced a hard drive containing the great key information for Charles Vallow's cell phone. The contents of the hard drive are exculpatory evidence. Defense had been requesting this evidence so that she could provide it to her independent expert for review. This discovery disclosure occurred in the middle of the trial. But they did not present that evidence though. So oh yeah, she's got. It's like, when Sarah Boone was around, it's like she kept on giving, but then Sarah Boone had her trial, and she still carry on giving. It's exactly like that. But Laurie makes it 10 times worse because she has so many trials and so much stuff going on. And that is definitely like an STD, Anna. But that's funny. Oh gosh. And then the third point D. On April 8th, 2025, the state elicited irrelevant, prejudicial, and improper character evidence when she asked Channel Fire Captain Kalla if he overheard any conversation with this defendant. Miss Trina Kay asked Captain Keller on direct examination, "Did you overhear this defendant talking with police?" He responded in the affirmative, stating that he overheard someone stating not getting invited to a pool party because of the commotion at the house or something. This statement caught this defendant off guard, as Captain Khaled indicated during his interviews with Channel Police just after this incident occurred that he only saw the male outside on the curb and did not mention even seeing the defendant. So she's mad because she did not get invited to a pool party? What? Laurie, get over it. During closing statements, while addressing the justification defenses, Ms. Trina Kay told the jury that this defendant was not entitled to any of these self defense instructions. First of all, closing statements are not evidence, so do not get too keen about that, because self defense or closing statements and opening statements are not evidence based, and that's why the jury says that. So I don't think that means anything. Then Miss K also gave false information by saying Alex had no reason to be at this defendant's home, and that this defendant told Alex to bring a pew pew. Gave by saying Alex had no reason to be at this defendant's home, and that did not had any reason, but they were also always together, and they had an improper relationship, and they were brother and sister. They don't need no reason. So Miss Trina Kay knew from previous testimony, interviews, and pre-trial defense interviews that Summer had begged Alex to go over to this defendant's home because of Summer's concerns for this defendant's safety. Yeah, because Summer was involved and was brainwashed by this defendant. So I think it's Alex's wife that got brainwashed with this whole situation. And then yeah, she was somehow involved. I don't wonder why she did not get called, but okay. Finally, Miss Trina Kai commented several times on this defendant's demeanor during this incident. Drive to police station on the body camera and told the jury you did not see her cry in that interview. Yet, knowing there were portions of this defendant's interview that had been cut from the full interview admitted by the state, where she sat in the room and did show emotions and can see grabbing a Kleenex. Oh, wow. She grabbed the Kleenex, you guys. Lorivallow grabbed a Kleenex. She must have been crying. Like, really? I was like, we saw the whole interview of Lorivallow. She was not crying. She grabbed the Kleenex. because like I grab a Kleenex. You guys don't think that I'm crying. I grab a Kleenex to take out a piece of gum to blow my nose like a normal person does. I don't think she was crying. She was, as she kept saying throughout the thing, she was nonchalant. Honestly, she's just a crazy lunatic. Um, I don't think I agree with you guys. Kleenex was for sure, exactly. It's like there's no way she was. Yeah, she got caught again, and well, she couldn't use this was yeah, it's just, oh yeah, I've absolutely, this was absolutely crazy. Oh, hello Genevieve, how are you? Good to see you, welcome in again. I'm so good to see you again, my friend. Hi, I'm waving behind the camera, but you can't see, but I am. You just gotta trust me. So I don't think that this was one of her more parts of the thing. But 1 second, water break. Kinda need to hydrate it. You can hear me wave? Okay, good. Here. You can hear me wave. I hope you're feeling better soon, darling. Um Now, court's lack of impartiality. Remember, she was a pro se. I think everyone remembers. The court precluded this defendant from presenting a defense by striking her witnesses, including but not limited to Nate Eaton and Brendan Burdo, before they were even called to stand. Here it comes, Nate Eaton, it's backing into emotion. Hey, ahí vamos, buenos dias, hello my friend. I hope you are doing okay. I hope your wall is built. Greetings, hello. So a happy Sunday, everybody. Indeed, it's just a chill out, true crime and chill and just talk about it. Oh, that is good. I like making people blush. It's fun. So good to see everybody. Welcome in, you guys. Thank you very much for the support. You guys mean a lot. Um, so she now on this new part of the motion for new trial. So we're going over Lori Vallow's motion for a new trial, right? And this part that we got up to, she wants a new trial because the court strike Nate Eaton that had nothing to contribute to this case. He was not related to this case, absolutely. Nate Eaton, for those who don't know, he works for Idaho News Station. I think it's Idaho News, and has been covering Lori's Valos basically since it happened, and Lori's obsessed with the guy, so she wanted to put him as a witness for her trial. I don't know what business he has in East Idaho News. Thank you. I knew if it was a word missing there, and I was not sure. Thank you very much, Sherry. Appreciate you. Um, so she wanted to call Nate for some reason, but the judge was like, he has no business in being called, so she's just not gonna get called. Um, oh yeah, she's just oh yeah, absolutely. She's mad with everybody that covers the story. Be aware, guys, we might be called to her to trial to testify. No, I'm joking. We're not. We're not that big. And then she wanted to call Brandon Bordeaux, right, on Charles Vallow trial when he was not related to him because he has his own trial. So the judge said no, they don't need to be called on this trial because they are not relevant to the case. And it's fair enough. They are not relevant. They could not bring any testimony whatsoever. So then it carry on. Specifically, before testimony began, the court required this defendant to establish on her record what relevance her witnesses would present. Yeah, because what relevance would Nate Eaton present to your case that you were involved in the conspiracy of unaliving your ex-husband if they did not know you from Adam or anything? Brandon Bordeaux, yeah, you could have had a little bit to know, but that's not up to me. But now, Nate Eaton, was the point of that? Just spitefulness, in my opinion. But just talking. This required this defendant to state in front of the prosecutor a defense strategy, which was none because she did not even present the case. She had absolutely nothing. Um, Well, she was already in jail. What could they do? Give her a one more day? But sure. Um, she is bonkers. Oh, definitely. Um, oh yeah, busted her. Absolutely. You know why? And he found her. Yeah, probably. Yeah. She's definitely bonkers in the brain, Ivan. Was I agree? This is not required under the law or any rule of evidence. I agree. You know, doing cross exam, and then carries on. Oh, it goes to Serena. During cross examination of a civilian witness, Serena Sharp, in relation to testimony regarding religious beliefs, the court commented during the prosecutor's objection to relevancy, stating, "I guess to the extent that you are comparing yourself to this biblical figures, I will allow it." Oh, that I remember that one. Um, Part of the state's case was to establish that this defendant had stepped outside of the. Oh, great. It goes into gray areas here because I don't know, and it's a religion thing. Not 100% sure about this part, but stepped outside of the Mormon religion by claiming that she was a translated being, specifically in text messages saying that she would be like Nephi, and that these messages were nothing more than part of the conspiracy to kill Charles Vallow. This defendant attempted to establish that being translated was a regular part of the Mormon religion and thus relevant line of questioning. That part, oh yes, definitely. I will remind you definitely. To promote, not to promote. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, and I will remind you oh yeah, she's definitely attacking the judge. She's going after everyone and everything right now. Um this part I'm not 100% sure what to comment because I have no clue. So we'll just very swiftly moving on. Now, we carry on. On argument and authority, the Arizona rules of criminal procedure provide that a court may grant a new trial when a juror or jurors have committed misconduct by receiving evidence not properly admitted to trial during trial. Additionally, a new trial is appropriate if any of the other reason not due to the defendant's own fault, the defendant has not received a fair and impartial trial. In When it comes to the juror part, I think out of all the arguments that they make here, the juror one, I am sorry to say, but the juror one makes sense. Um, it's an a will employment state and their shares have been merged. Lol. Oh, you're funny. Um, I think the only thing that actually kind of makes sense is the part where it says about the Jorah misconduct. I think and I think that's where they go into more on the next pages, from page 5 to 13, because there's a lot. Um, uh, it talks literally about how in another trial a juror was also found of misconduct. It's a whole thing. And then they go more into more, literally more in depth about every single reason that they say that she needs a new trial based on the this is all the reasons that they state. In my opinion, you guys let me know what you guys think. But in my opinion, and I hate saying this from the bottom of my heart, she might get one based on the fact of the Juror 15 mess up, not because of anything else. But there, I think there's a possibility. I don't know when the judge is gonna do the rule on this, because I know that 10 days from today they do have a hearing related to Brandon Burdo and the next trial, and they might address this motion then. What we might do is, I did say we're not gonna cover the. Oh, hello, Sheena. Hi, hello. Good to see you. I am again waving behind the scenes. I think the jury issue, definitely, unfortunately, it's gonna be the one. Yeah, could be the one. So yeah, you got one. It's very very lucky. So I definitely enjoy it. I hope you enjoy. Someone give it to you, which is awesome. Yeah, the jury thing is going to be a problem. Absolutely. It's I don't know. It is. I want to cover it. Might be we might cover if we're not in the middle of the trial. We're gonna be covering live, but if not, we are gonna cover the hearing on what maybe on a Sunday episode. You know, we because she has on a 14. Which day of the week is? Well, we might be in the middle of a trial. Who knows? It's on a Wednesday, so either after trial that we are because of Arizona time, we might be able to catch it live if happens in the afternoon. I do need to investigate, or if anyone knows that is in chat, exactly the time that she has a hearing. We probably can find it live and can follow it live, but if not, we'll definitely cover it as a later point and absolutely have a look into it. But what do you guys think? Do you think that she should get a new trial based on any of the it's not I don't want to say excuses, but any of the reasons that she says she wants to have a new trial? And I hate having to say that. I think I don't want to say a whole trial because I don't want to go through it again. But that jury misconduct, it's not really fair, you know. Um, Hannah, if the short trial, if the defense in the short trial is still going by the 14th, I will analyze myself. I will self delete myself from this earth. Um, yeah, I think she might be granted one for the jury ensure. If the short trial is still ongoing by the 14th of May, I don't think we are going to be following. Because I'm not going to lie, right? This guy that is on stand, and we're going to be talking now about a little bit about the short trial. I was going to say, let me make myself a little bit big, but there's no problem. No, thing, because I have my camera off. But if the short trial has if they actually have the 40 expert witnesses or the 40 witnesses that they say they're gonna have, guys, we are in for a wild ride. I do need to do some reading. Maybe after the our live, I'm gonna go to bed, and chill a little bit and start winding down. And I'm gonna try to find some information on how long this is, because even the prosecution was very angry at the end of the Friday live, right? On Friday after court, they were very upset and very angry that we are gonna be back on Monday. They were not happy. I don't know if you guys caught the snark, but they were not happy. Sorry, Genevieve said that jury can be put in the back room with food and beverage, a monitor, and a notepad. In my opinion, the judge can actually order her to have an attorney if the appeal grants are retired. I don't. Can that's a gray area for me, to be fair, to be honest. I don't know if you can force her in a way like the judge in Florida couldn't force Sarabon to have it, but well, if she but I don't think Lori would ever listen to a judge saying my force her, but um yeah, you caught the snark because it was very snarky, saying it's like he was very angry that this we're gonna go back on Monday with this case. So I don't want to be rude. I think the defense did their job of proving the not guiltiness of the client. I think they should stop. This last one was very good. For some reason, I don't remember that it was very good. And he gave a very good testimony and he was a very good witness and everything. But I think the defense should just stop. But we'll see what happens, I guess, tomorrow. Because they're gonna be back for it. Um Hey, hello, William Santiago. Hello, buenos dias, buenas tardes, ¿cómo estás? How are you? So, now, another thing that I want to do. moving on to the next segment. What we're gonna do is I said I don't like, it's not I don't like sentencings. Sentencings can be sometimes a bit long and a bit boring and a bit emotional. But I find them that is also very good. And it's also awesome to have justice for the victims. And then there's cases that I find they are very interesting, but people plead guilty. And then the only thing we have about that case is the sentencings of them. Um and this one sparked my eye because it's a very horrible case. Maybe not be a Sunday issue. I don't know. Would you guys prefer to watch the sentencing that's we're gonna do, or the prosecutions? Hopefully, it's not gonna be a long. Hang on. Before I say what I want to do, let me see how long it is, because I don't think it's gonna be long anyway. So I'm doing an interlude right now, not with a bit of music. Obviously, you're not gonna listen. There you go. Should start around there. There you go. So starts around there, and then he talks like a lot, and he walks a lot, and probably doesn't has any mic on. Oh, okay. And so okay. For 27, it's about 50 minutes, but we can watch always at 1.2 anyway, so that's not problem. So um look at are you okay, all right, we can do a sentencing then. We're gonna do a sentencing, and then we can do next week or something the openings from the other case that I was gonna say. So I'm gonna give you like a rundown to the case, or from a news article, and then we'll see the sentence, because they did plead guilty and they got the sentencing, and they got the day in court in a way that people were able to speak about on this thing. So this case is from Atlanta, Georgia. So we traveled down to Georgia, and we've got two parents, a mom and a dad. In Spalding County was a couple that were accused of intentionally starving and abusing their adoptive son, that have taken a non-negotiated plea deal and were sentenced to decades in prison on Thursday. So this was last Thursday. Last Thursday. So we have Krista and Tyler. Oh my days! I should have written the names beforehand. Shinley. They were sentenced. Well, we already know, sentenced to 40 years in prison and 20 years of probation. They both were also sentenced on several other charges that will run concurrently with the prison and the probation sentencing. And then they go into what the judge say, but talking about the case. So Griffin police described the boy, this son. um oh, oh, you heard a new sentencing? Yeah, it is. I heard about it and never look into the parents stuff. I know it is absolutely horrible. The kids. I yeah. It's a very sad case, but we've got justice. Little boy got justice. So, and he's still alive, and he's still alive, which is good. I think, which I hope. Yeah. Right. Yeah, because the boy weighed just 36 pounds when he was found wandering on the street. So the kid was found wandering on the street, weighed 36 pounds, which is wow. And then so the police described the boy as thin with discolored skin and visible injuries. Investigators said that he weighed 36 pounds when they examined him. According to the affidavit, the parents intentionally withheld food from their son and often locked him in his bedroom with no access to food, light, or hot or warm running water, human interactions, or the bathroom. Court documents suggest that the Shinleys not only abused their son, leaving dental injuries and disfiguration, but did so in the presence of other minors in the home. There wasn't a dry eye in the courthouse when the sentence was handed down. Griffin Judicial Circuit Attorney Marie Broda said it's been quite emotional. So I know it is 36 pounds is absolutely sad. So what I was gonna do now, we're gonna watch the sentencing. I just want to say, be aware. If you need to go outside and touch grass, it's okay, but have a tissue nearby. It's gonna get emotional. There's a lot of testimonies, you guys know, and have a thing. And we are here to have a therapy session as well. We can talk and chat to each other and just enjoy and actually see justice happening for this little boy. And hopefully the sound will be okay too. Let's just skip this part away. It's not long, so hang on 1 second. Let me see when. There you go.
Mr. Shinley, we're about to proceed in the sentencing in this case. Mr. Shinley, do you still wish to go forward with your guilty plea? Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Shinley, do you still wish to go forward with your guilty plea? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, you can be seated. Does the state have any legal impact that they wish to submit to the court prior to sentencing?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I have, Ethan Howard Shinley is present via WebEx. I'm going to ask him to address the court. I also have, because Evan Shinley cannot be present, I do have a letter from his therapist talking about the impact to him. I also have some photographs that I would like to enter as physical impact evidence. I also have 2 witnesses in aggravation I'd like to present.
Mr. Shinley, Ethan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you wish to address the court, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may do so.
Hi, my name is. Thank you for letting me speak. Ever since I was youth, felt worthless, didn't matter. Now living at home, you know what I am, thanks to the people I have around me. I've learned the truth of Taylor and Elijah. They are all good people at their own time. Overall, what is better than to coming up here? When I listened to what they did to me, Elijah, and Ellen was very wrong. I hope they were proceedings. It was unfair that patient I couldn't be for them. I tried to be positive, but it was never enough. Krista having me with your driver was asked. Anything I may have done to pay for what they did. At the time, I didn't understand the appropriate and inappropriate punishment, but now I do. I was really full. I hope the son will get some reply on what they could have done there. And I am safe, I can be who I really hope in her. Even after what they acted in I forgive because it's the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shinley.
Judge, and for purposes of the court record, I will have my office contact Ethan Tyler and ask him to send a photographic copy of that statement he was reading so it can go to the court record. Yes, sir. I'd like to call at this time Sophia Gutierrez. Yes, please.
Ms. Gutierrez, if you'll come around to the witness stand. Just come around and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in the matter not pending before this court is true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you may have a seat. Please state your name for the record.
Sophia Gutierrez,
Will you spell your last name, Ms. Gutierrez?
Gutierrez.
you. Ms. Gutierrez, what do you do for a living?
I'm a school counselor,
Okay, and where are you a school counselor?
Rock Spring Elementary.
Are you familiar with a child named Haven Gearing, who later was called Evan Shenley?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, were you his school counselor when he went to Rock Springs Elementary School?
Yes, ma'am, I was one of his counselors.
Okay. I want to talk to you just a little bit about some things that happened while he was a student there.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with Tyler and Krista Shenley?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. During the course of the years that Evan attended school at Rock Springs, did you notice some concerns about food related to Evan?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
His classroom teacher, well, he had some problems with food, and it came about when his classroom teacher said a lot of times when we had some behavior problems, it was all in relations to food. And we got concerned about the amount of food that was in his lunchbox.
Okay, tell me about the amount of food that would come to school in his lunchbox with him.
So by memory, he used to come with like almonds in a Tupperware container that was like a salad dressing. You know, Tupperware containers, and they were the ones for salad dressing. He would have like almonds in that. Sometimes some celery stick, hummus, but it was always a small containers.
And after Evan would eat, did he ever seem satisfied?
He was never satisfied.
Did you address, you and other members of the staff, did you address Evan's hunger with his parents?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And were there times that you had meetings with his parents and with the foster agency and DFACS related to your concerns about Evan's hunger?
Yes, ma'am, numerous times.
Okay. And I want to talk just about those meetings and the steps that you took. Well, Ms. Gutierrez, how long have you been a school counselor?
Since 2016, 8 years.
Okay. And have you dealt with children who came from backgrounds of food insecurity or not having available food?
Yes, we have.
And does hunger sometimes in your experience contribute to behavior issues?
Most definitely.
When you addressed your concerns with the Shenleys about the amount of food that Evan was given, tell me about that interaction between you and the Shenleys.
So one particular instance was he didn't have enough food. There was issues, and we gave him school lunch, and we called. I think I spoke to Dad that day. He didn't have enough food, and so we wanted to provide him with school lunch so that there was no food in the lunchbox. We're not sure. I think, and later on we found out he ate it on the bus or something. And so I called and I got Dad first, and he agreed for us to give him a school lunch. But then we later, Mom was upset that he's not allowed to eat school lunch. You're only allowed to give him what's in his lunchbox because it was on a special diet of some sort. And that was just one instance.
That was one instance. Yes. Were there other times where he was observed licking the bowl, trying to get more food out of what he had?
So on another occasion, during lunchtime, the cafeteria stopped us. That's when he came in with the small portions. And one of the paraprofessional in the cafeteria came to report to me that he did not have enough food in the lunchbox. And so the little bit that he had, she was very emotional, actually. He was licking the Tupperware salad that was in it clean. But we weren't allowed to give him a lunch from the cafeteria, so she just reported it to me.
Okay. Now, did you, again, confront the defendants, the parents, with concerns about Evan not getting enough to eat?
Yes, we did, and it got to the point where I reached out to the caseworkers about it.
Okay, so you actually reported to DFACS that you
Yes.
had concerns about this?
Yes.
At the time that this was going on, was Evan in foster care with the defendants?
Yes.
Okay, so he had not yet been adopted, is that correct?
No.
Okay. Did you express concerns about his adoption to DFACS?
Yes, numerous times.
And besides food, what were those concerns that you had for Evan and his relationship with his, at the time, foster parents, Krista and Tyler Shenley?
So on one occasion, we had a meeting, IEP meeting, and during that meeting, it was, a lot was going on, and during that meeting, Ms. Shinley, expressed that everyone was being forced on her. She only wanted, that she had only wanted, I want to, not the exact words, but what she was referring to, that she only wanted the kids, the sister, the twins, and he was being forced on her. And so after the meeting, I emailed the caseworker, and I said, please do not allow them to, and I thought I'd probably get in trouble, but I was like, please do not allow them to adopt him. I don't think they love him.
I want to talk about physical affection with Evan. Did Evan respond to physical affection from his teachers and people in his classroom and stuff like that?
Yes, he loved hugs in the hallway. He was little, so he would always just run up and give us hugs all the time.
And to be fair, the years that he went to school with you were in kindergarten and first grade, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you ever given instructions by the Shinleys related to physical affection with Evan?
Yes, so after, I want to say it was after that meeting and constant calls and, obviously as a counselor, I was the one making all the reports. I think it got to the point where I think something was said about, I was interfering with the adoption process, because I would consider reach out to the adoption agency or to, the caseworker that was over the case at the time. And, in one of the instances, I think it was one of our meetings, Ms. Lee said that we were giving him too much affection at school, and so he had none left to give him at home. And so I was told by our school personnel or administrator that I was not allowed to interact with him anymore. So our other counselor had to, like, if there was any kind of meeting or any talk between the parent and that, or the counselor had to be the one to deal with it, because she reported me to the district office.
Okay, and were you and the other members of the staff at Rock Springs given strict instructions about physical affection?
Yes, we were not allowed to give him any kind of affection, so there were times when it was just very obvious. I saw him in the hallway and I couldn't hide, so I would still give him a side hug, and there were times when I would hide from him when I see him, so I would not be telling no.
Nothing further.
Any questions, Mr. Carlisle?
Just briefly, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes,
You made two reports to DFACS about your concerns with the Shins, correct?
I know one specific one. I know Ms. Rice made reports as well. A lot of my communication. I know one specific one that I made. I know the last one I read. It's been a while, so I was going back to find on my reports. So I have one that I can remember for sure.
Right. But do you know there were two investigations done by DFACS? You know that?
What do you mean by investigation?
They did two investigations based on your
On report, yes,
report,
okay.
right? And both of those investigations came back unsubstantiated, correct?
Usually I don't get all the information as to what happened. I just know that when I made it, and a lot of the communication between the two was through email, because we had a caseworker for him wherever he came from before he came to Henry County. And so a lot of my communication was through her, but yes, we did get a lot of pushback from the facts.
All right, thank you. That's all.
Sorry, next one.
Say we call Kaylin Carter.
When you turn around, let me just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in the matter not in the before this court will be true to all things and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Will you state your name for the record?
My name is Caitlin Carter.
Spell your first name, please.
Caitlin, Caylin.
Morning or afternoon, Ms. Carter. Can you tell us what you do for a living?
I am a private agency case manager for Family Sponsor Care Agency.
And are you familiar with Krista and Tyler Shinley?
I am.
Okay, how are you familiar with them?
I was their caseworker for a year and a half prior to their adoption.
Okay. And were you in charge of the placement of Evan Shinley as well as his 4 younger siblings with the Shinley family?
Technically, that placement authority was with Madison County PFAS. As a CPA agency, we do not have placement authority. We hold the license for the foster family, and we offer extra supervision and support alongside the department.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about some concerns that were raised at the time that Evan and his siblings were fostering with the Shinleys, okay? Did you begin to develop some concerns related to conversations with Krista and Tyler Shinley about their relationship with Evan?
Yes, I did.
Can you please tell us about that?
They repeatedly made comments to the effect that they did not want him, that he was a problem. I can remember several specific conversations in their home where they talked about wanting to put a label on him as a foster child so that everyone would understand that they are embarrassed by his behavior and that everyone would give the benefit of the doubt of that it's him, that's the problem. Lots of complaints about behavior, but not specific clarification as to what was going on. It felt a lot more like they were taking anything that happened very personally from Haven. And when we did offer support and resources, they were not followed up with sufficiently, in my opinion. I spoke to multiple supervisors with my agency as well as our agency CEO to intervene and have discussions with the Shinleys about that attitude that they had towards Haven, because I was very concerned about the comments that they were making.
And ultimately, what did your agency do related to the Shinley family?
We recommended against the adoption to the state.
Okay. And did you drop them as a foster family?
We did. They had the option of, we would not follow through with the adoption. My agency did not condone it, and so they left our agency and finalized the adoption to DFAS.
Nothing further. Oh, okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, you referred to a child named Haven. Is that Evan Shinley?
Haven is Evan Shinley, but I knew him as Haven, and he is Haven in my mind.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Any questions, Mr. Coleman? No. Any questions, Mr. Yes. Maybe we may sit down.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Judge. I do have a few exhibits I'd like to answer, please.
Have they previously been entered?
They did not.
Okay. There's no need for dropping the camera.
Okay. These are state exhibits S1 through S9. S1 through S6 are comparative photographs from his admission to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta on May 13th of 2023. And then there is a corresponding photo from July 5th of 2023 and a follow-up so that the court can see the difference that proper nutrition made for Evan. There are photographs of his face, photographs of his legs, and photographs of his bottom. State's position is that these photographs show the physical ramifications of the defendant's actions. F7 is a photograph of Evan now, so that the court can see how he's been able to grow and thrive. S8 is a photograph of Evan with his siblings now, to show that they are working on being able to establish some type of relationship despite the defendant's actions. And finally, states S9. This goes to the mental impact that this had on on Evan. And this is a letter from his therapist and psychologist to talk about the impact that it's had. Would the court like me to read it, or would you like to see it? Yes, sir.
S1 through S9 are measuring the evidence. Anything else?
Nothing but argument.
Mr. Crawford, do you have any evidence in mitigation?
Just.
You might already.
Judge, with regards to Ms. Krista Shinley, we would like to make the court aware that Ms. Shinley has never had any kind of history with the criminal justice system. I don't think she's ever had a ticket in her life, but she was a active member of the community. She was an active member of the church. Since she's been arrested, she's been actively ministering to the other areas of the jail. She's never been a problem. Judge, we would respectfully just ask for you to accept the plea. She doesn't want to make a statement at the appropriate time, Judge.
Now's the time.
I understand that,
Bear me with just a moment. I am trying to find the better. I had a better feed earlier. I don't know what happened. Hang on 1 second. Where is it? When did it go? Where did it go? Oh man, I had a better feed one. Well, it's not a better feed, and I had another feed. Let me just do something. Hang on. Here you go. 1 second. Because I had another one that had exactly the sentence, and it had a better sound, in my opinion. Apparently no. Oh well, sorry guys. This is what we have. So hopefully we'll get better. Sorry.
Looking into contacting us in this case, and they were affected negatively. For that, I sincerely apologize to every single person and those people that I have no idea who they even are. I'm very sorry for that. I'd like to apologize to all of our children. I know the older children have family around them who love them, and I'm thankful for that. And I just pray that God would bring the right parents along to be able to give the younger children a wonderful life. I know that the love of God is able to do many things, and I'm trusting Him with our children, and I'm just very thankful for this opportunity to be able to apologize for this.
Anything in mitigation?
It looks like Ms. Shinley had no prior record coming into this. She's been continuously incarcerated since May of 2023. And this is a very tough and trying case around all of this. There's not been anything that's easy about this case. As the court's even seen through the process of jury selection and this is one day of testimony. This was an AED soul crusher, so to speak. But with this plea, I'd ask the court to take into consideration that we've essentially eliminated the necessity for the children to testify to go through any sort of cross-examination or other hardship. Also, then essentially now we're taking what would have been 2 weeks of trial now just on this, and they have come forward and accepted responsibility in this case. So that's the court to take note of that. Mr. Shinley, I believe, did want to make a statement.
Mr. Shinley, please rise.
I don't think there's really any words really expressed, feelings of just this whole situation. Just want to be a parent and love kids, and things happen, and
you wish you could turn back time and make different things change, you know. But I'm very thankful that, granted, I didn't get to see the images, and I'm glad that I got the help that he needed to. You don't deserve to see the images. I didn't have to. I'm just glad that he got the help that he needed, and I pray that, they all get home to the end of the game, and, I apologize to all my family and friends and, everybody I've ever associated with it, that I did through this, and all people that I don't even know, that's affected by this, so. My apologies, and just continue to pass the risk. Well, you want to say?
Your Honor, I've been a prosecutor nearly 18 years, the majority of that prosecuting crimes against children, and never have I seen a case that showed the depth of human depravity like this one. The depth of torture that Evan Shenley lived through for years at these two hands is truly terrible. Our Constitution does not allow us to do the types of things to them that they chose to do on a child. When they go to the Department of Corrections, they will have rights. They will have access to dental care and hygiene. They will have access to toilet paper and running water. They will have access to food and medical care. Their every need will be met. And that was their job for Evan. When he was placed with them, he was only 5 years old. By the time he was 10, he weighed 37 pounds because they systematically took everything from him. They took food, they took his health. He went from being the 75th to 90th percentile in weight to 0.01 percentile by the time they were finished with him. This jury would have heard that. This jury would have heard from the dentist that had to extract his teeth. This jury would have heard from the endocrinologist that treated him that the only thing that made him look the way that he looked was malnutrition. There was not a thing wrong with his body other than the fact that it was starved. He was starved with food. He was starved with basic necessities. Most distressing, he was starved of his humanity. Because they constantly told him he was disgusting. They fed him rotten food and encouraged the other children to laugh at him. They told the other children that he was gross and not to spend time with him. They encouraged the other children to call him names. They called him names. Dipshit, worthless, disgusting. That is what Evan Shenley lived with. In that barren room that the court saw with the door locked from the outside. I know that the court cannot, in any means, do justice for what Evan Shenley lives through. It's not in our authority, and it is not here on this worldly plane. I am asking that the court do its very best to honor what Evan Shenley lives through, to honor what Ethan Tyler Shenley lived through, because what the court didn't hear from Ethan Tyler today is that he was used as a weapon against Evan, just like those younger siblings. He was required to enforce the rules, and as a child with autism, he did absolutely everything he was told to do. The time that he was cut with a knife, and he didn't tell the court this, was because he took a popsicle. Everything in that house centered around control, centered around absolute obedience to the word of law. Well, the word of law does reign, and it reigns here in this courtroom, and it reigns from that bench. I'm asking you, speak it. Speak the word of law. Nothing else. Thank you.
Mr. Shenley, I've been an attorney for over 20 years. Much of that time I was a prosecutor. I've seen people do heinous things to each other. I've seen people with their head almost cut off. I've seen murders. I've seen child molestation. I've seen child pornography. I've even prosecuted a child death where the child was tortured. But as I sat here yesterday, I thought to myself, I've never seen human beings do what you two did to another human being. I have a special needs son who's autistic. God placed him with me as a blessing. Many people don't have the blessing to have children. There's probably some here in court today that don't have that blessing. And we threw it away. When Evan ran away from your residence, Miss Shelly, and you were stopped by the police, you never even asked, is Evan okay? That would have been the first thing that I would have asked if one of my children were missing from my residence. And to sit here and listen to testimony where your adopted son, your son, was so hungry that when he was given food at the hospital and crumbs dropped into his napkin, he was so scared that that napkin full of crumbs was going to be taken away. And while I appreciate you not putting your children through this process and making them testify, you should have shown a hell of a time to show mercy on this. When I became an attorney, like Ms. Leonard said, we took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Georgia. Under the 8th Amendment, I'm not allowed to impose a sentence that is cruel and unusual. I'm bound by that oath, and I'm bound by the Constitution. You better be glad that I am. Or otherwise, I would impose a sentence, much like the one you imposed on Evan. But that's beyond my authority. I'm taking into account the fact that you did not put your children through this process. I'm also taking into account that you have chosen to accept responsibility in day 2 of this trial, or day 2 of testimony in this trial. Had this case gone further, you would likely be receiving a sentence much higher than what you are about to receive. With that being said, please rise. Ms. Shenley, on count 1, criminal intent to commit a felony, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count will be 20 years to serve in prison. On count 2, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve in prison, consecutive to count 1. On count 3, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count will be 20 years probation, consecutive to counts 1 and 2. You'll have the following general conditions of probation: do not violate the criminal laws of any government unit. Avoid injurious or vicious habits. Avoid personal places of disreputable or harmful character. Report to the probation officer as directed and permit such officer to visit your home or elsewhere. Work faithfully at suitable employment insofar as may be possible. Do not change your present place of abode, move outside the jurisdiction of the court, or leave the state for any period of time without prior permission of the probation officer. Support your legal dependents to the best of your ability. You'll have a Fourth Amendment waiver. You'll submit to a search of your person, residence, papers, vehicle, and/or effects at any time, day or night, with or without a search warrant, whenever requested to do so by a probation officer or other law enforcement officer, upon reasonable cause to believe that you are in violation of your probation, otherwise acting in violation of the law. You shall specifically consent to the use of anything seized as evidence in any judicial proceeding. You will have absolutely no contact with the victims and witnesses in this case, including your own children. You'll sign a records release which will allow the probation office to have access to all your medical, clinical, treatment, and work records. As part of this probation, you are banished from the Griffin Judicial Circuit, which includes Upton, Pike, Spalding, and Fayette counties. You will provide a DNA sample. This is an offense against a minor. You will have no contact with minors and not be allowed to be around where minors congregate. You will avoid alcohol and drug use, and you shall not possess firearms. On count 4, aggravated battery, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count will be 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1 and 2. On count 5, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, and 4. On count 6, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, and 5. On count 7, battery, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 12 months to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, and 6. On count 8, false imprisonment, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 10 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Count 9, false imprisonment, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 10 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. On count 10, aggravated assault, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. On count 11, aggravated assault, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on count 12, aggravated battery, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now, Ms. Shinley, you have the right to appeal this plea. If you wish to appeal this plea, you must file that paperwork within 30 days of the day's date. Your attorney will go over that with you. Ma'am, you have pled guilty to felony offenses and misdemeanor offenses. With respect to the misdemeanor offense, you have 12 months from today's date to avail yourself of relief under the state's habeas corpus act. With respect to the felony offenses, you have 4 years from today's date to avail yourself of relief under the state's habeas corpus act. Your attorney will go over that with you. Ms. Shinley, do you wish to withdraw this guilty plea and have a jury trial? That'll be the Simpson court, man. Mr. Shinley. On count 1, criminal intent to commit a felony, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve in prison. On count 2, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve in prison, consecutive to count 1. On count 3, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years probation, consecutive to counts 1 and 2. You have the following general conditions of probation. Do not violate the criminal laws of any government unit. Avoid injurious or vicious habits. Avoid personal or places of disreputable or harmful character. Report to your probation officer as directed or permitted by such officer to visit your home or elsewhere. Work faithfully at suitable employment. Do not change your present place of abode, move outside the jurisdiction of the court, or leave the state for any period of time without permission from your probation officer. Support your legal dependents to the best of your ability. You will have a Fourth Amendment waiver. You shall submit to a search of your person, residence, papers, vehicle, and/or effects at any time, day or night, with or without a search warrant, whenever you're requested to do so by a probation officer or other law enforcement officer upon reasonable cause to believe that you're in violation of your probation or otherwise acting in violation of the law. You shall provide a specimen for testing at the request of your probation officer. You're to have no contact whatsoever with any victims or witnesses in this case, including your own children. You will have a records release or sign a records release so that your probation officer can get all medical, clinical, and treatment work records. You're banished from the Griffin Judicial Circuit, which includes Upson, Pike, Spalding, and Fayette counties. You will provide a DNA sample. Mr. Shinley, this offense is against a minor. You will not be allowed to be around minors or where minors congregate. You're to avoid alcohol and drug use, and you shall not possess firearms. Mr. Shinley, on count 4, aggravated battery, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1 and 2. On count 5, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, and 4. On count 6, cruelty to children in the first degree, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 20 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, and 5. On count 7, battery, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 12 months to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, and 6. On count 8, false imprisonment, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 10 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. On count 9, false imprisonment, the court finds you guilty. The sentence on that count is 10 years to serve, concurrent to counts 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Mr. Shinley, you have the right to appeal this plea. If you wish to appeal this plea, you must file that paperwork within 30 days of the day's date, and your attorney will go over that with you. You're pleading guilty to a misdemeanor offense and felony offenses. With respect to the misdemeanor offense, you'll have 12 months from the day's date to avail yourself of relief under the state's habeas corpus act. With respect to the felony offenses, you'll have 4 years from the day's date to avail yourself of relief under the state's habeas corpus act. Your attorney will go over that with you. Mr. Shinley, do you wish to withdraw this guilty plea and have a jury trial? That way the sentence of court, you can take him out. Anything else we need to take up from the state before I bring this jury in and release it? Anything from the next? No.
Judge, I do actually have one request. I would ask that the jury be allowed to see the photograph and everything else, so that they can see.
I'll allow you to publish into the jury. I think it would probably be better, I'm not trying to tell you how to track the case, Dave, but given the
Right, we can stop there because the sound was getting worse. And it was starting to affect my hearing because I was getting deaf. So, yeah, they both got 40 years in jail, prison, and 20 years of probation. And then every single thing that the jury could have thought of throwing at them, it did. No contact with minors, no contact with witnesses, no firearms, no nothing. Basically, no fun anymore for the rest of their life. No alcohol, no nothing. So, literally, they will never ever have proper freedom, which is good because they should have gotten more. But the judge, why, in terms of the guidelines that he had to follow, he couldn't do more, but he literally throw at them absolutely everything possible and unimaginable. Right. So before we do finish today, I want to do one last thing. I want to listen to the prosecutor openings of the trial of Tyree Nichols. I've covered a little bit. I did a video earlier this week with Zio on this case. It's absolutely a gut wrenching case coming out of Memphis. That 4 police officers, three police officers at the moment, they are standing trial for the murdering of Tyree Nichols, that is the victim. and it's a very controversial one, but I hope this trial is still ongoing. So eventually we will be covering the verdict and the reaction on this verdict on this case. But that's also something that I want to cover. And the prosecution, we're just going to do what my plan is. We're just going to do the prosecution openings. That's all. We can discuss it. And then we're going to carry on doing like bits and pieces here and there, in either in videos or reactions for this. Oh, Britta, thank you so much. Wow, 2 months. Thank you very much for the support, girl. I know you can't see me right now, but I send you a lot of, I'm waving a lot to you, and I'm sending you a hug as well. I am sending you the biggest hug, possibly unmanageable. You are so strong, an incredible friend. Thank you very much for the support you give to the channel, and I'm sending you a lot of support to you too right now. I know you deserve it more and more and more. You are amazing. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate every single thing that you do, and I really do. Thank you. So yeah, so I'm gonna watch this openings, and I think after that, that's where we're gonna leave, because I don't want to be too long, and it's not late, but I want to start to winding down, because I am back at my day job tomorrow at the bakery, baking bread and doing things and working, not having just fun with you all. So yeah, so this we're gonna watch now those openings, and then we're gonna crack from there, and we'll be back tomorrow anyway. We are literally tomorrow live streaming at 9:15 in the morning Eastern. We are gonna go live because our trial has half an hour delay, but we're gonna carry on this snooze fest short trial. I am not gonna cry. I will try not to. Oh, thank you very much. The same, girl. The same goes to you. Thank you very much. You're so sweet. Thank you. Let's get the show on the road. Share this one. Do this. Do. Hopefully, the audio will be better. Hopefully, this is me hoping.
Stepdad Rodney, who also worked there.
My bad. I'm a professional streamer. Sorry. Let's. Well, the only thing he said was the number of the case and nothing else. So you did not miss anything. So I'm a professional streamer. Lol.
His injuries, the medical examiner will say, blunt force trauma to the head. But it looks like almost looks like a car wreck. Injuries that you almost see mainly in a car wreck. He calls it torsional injuries. Torsion. It's a twisting from a torque-like force. His head accelerating while his body is stable, like in a car wreck when you're restrained by a seatbelt and your head accelerates so fast, whips back, and the twisting of that acceleration actually tears his brain and tears his brain from the skull. Except this 29-year-old didn't get these injuries in a car wreck. The proof will be that he got them by being beaten to death by 5 Memphis police officers. The young man's name, Tyree Nichols. How did this happen? How does this happen? 5 Memphis police officers beat this young man to death, tearing his brain from his skull. Does it happen because it's 5 monsters? No. No. Nobody's going to call them monsters. Absolutely not. It doesn't take monsters to kill a man, though. It doesn't take monsters to kill a man. You'll see for yourself how Emmett Martin, who delivers such huge blows, of Desmond Mills, who delivers the baton again and again, how Tadaris Bean and Justin Smith hold and restrain Tyree Nichols while Martin's doing what he's doing, and how Haley runs up, kicks him. Some did more than others. Absolutely. But all 5 of these men helped in this terrible, terrible thing. No one's going to call them monsters. 5 men helping each other beat a man to death. How did this happen? How did this happen? Tyree Nichols, 29 years old. He's on his way home to eat. He's going to his mom's house. You'll meet her. Her name is Ravon Wells. Live in, I'm going to call it Hickory Hill. Y'all aren't from Memphis, but Hickory Hill is sort of East Memphis. A good 15 minutes from where we're sitting right now, away from the river. The river's Memphis's western edge. There's some big streets that run through Hickory Hill, like Ross and Rains. You'll hear those streets in this tribe. Those streets will have commercial type businesses and fast food places and things like that. But off those streets are smaller streets that are residential neighborhoods. So this is an area of Memphis where people live. Houses and neighborhoods and cul-de-sacs and all that stuff. It's a neighborhood where Ravon Wells is living, and that's Tyree's mom. It's around 8, well after 7, but it's around 8, and Tyree's driving his car, and he's on his way home. This is where, and you'll see for yourselves, all the answers we don't have, nobody has. There's limited information, but you'll see the information that does exist about how this started. Presumably, and I'm not going to take issue with it because there's not proof one way or the other that we can agree on or that we can point to as far as proof. Presumably, Tyree Nichols is speeding. Emmett Martin is a police officer. All 5 of these men that are charged in this crime are police officers. They work together as part of a team that's called the Scorpion Unit. That's not a bad thing. It's data-driven policing. Okay, so they send these guys aren't assigned to a particular precinct. Okay, and they're not assigned to like homicide or something like this. They're assigned to what's called the Scorpion Unit. They're sent out to various areas that maybe having a problem with whatever it is. I'll send unit out to make traffic stops and do sort of anti-crime suppression type activities. Okay, they're out in Hickory Hill that night. Presumably, and again, we'll see what we see. Emmett Martin catches Tyree speeding. At some point, Emmett Martin activates his blue lights. Whether or not Tyree saw that or not, we don't know. At some point, Tyree continues driving. Blue lights are activated. Who knows if Tyree saw it or not? Emmett Martin stops his blue lights, turns them off. Drives presumably faster to catch Tyree Nichols. Probably a distance of 2 miles-ish, give or take a little either way, on one of these main roads. So no twist and a turn, anything like this, one of the main roads. And he reactivates the blue lights. Emmett Martin gets out of his car, but there's also another car too, and that's Demetrius Taylor. He's another one of these police officers, one of these 5 police officers, one of the defendants on trial this week. He stops too. Tyree Nichols' car is stopped, making a left-hand turn in the left-hand turn lane at the red light. Okay, on the main road, on the way back to his house. Tyree Nichols' car stops. He's waiting to turn, left-hand turn, the left-hand turn lane. Martin stops, Haley stops, and this traffic stop, this, I guess what I'll call it, begins. There's a couple seconds of the traffic stop that we're not going to be able to see, because what we see when we see this traffic stop is from a body cam. Most of our police officers wear body cams. Who's the 3rd officer on the scene? And he gets there real quick. So we're not missing 5 minutes or anything like that. He gets there real quick at the start of this traffic stop. He's also on the swerving team. His name's Preston Hemphill. He's not indicted in the case. You will see his body cam and this traffic stop for yourself. Not going to look like any traffic stop you've probably seen before. You will see Emmett Martin rip Tyree out of the driver's side of the car. Tyree's by himself. You will see Emmett Martin extremely agitated. You will see Demetrius Haley extremely agitated. You will see Tyree Nichols thrown to the ground, yelled various things to him. You will see various commands: get on the ground, they saw you on the ground, we're going to break your stuff. He'll respond to them: you guys are doing a lot right now. We're going to tase you. All sorts of stuff while he's there, and this is captured on body cam. Okay? This is apparently a theme in the case. Then they pepper spray him. Okay? He's on the ground. He's surrounded by Hemphill, by Martin, by Haley. He has not thrown a punch or a kick, he hasn't had any threats or anything like this. He's being yelled at and threatened, and he asked them, you guys are doing a lot right now. And then he's pepper sprayed, but in a theme of this case, the officers managed to pepper spray themselves. Okay? So they're pepper spraying, they pepper spray themselves. When they pepper spray themselves, Hemphill's also threatening to tase them. This all happens extremely fast. You'll see it for yourself. Quick video. Tyree gets off the ground and starts to run away. He runs in the direction of home, but he starts to run away. When Hemphill tases him, but it appears the taser doesn't really make contact, or only part of it makes contact. So Tyree's able to take off. This traffic stop is going to look very confusing, very fast, and inexplicable. You'll hear Martin say when he rips Tyree out of the car past his body, something about his gun, Martin's gun. Tyree has no gun. Something about Martin's gun. Like maybe when he was ripping Tyree out, somehow Tyree's body contacted Martin's gun. You'll later hear Martin tell different stories about what happened. In one version, you'll even hear him make up a story about Tyree trying to hit him. You'll see the video for yourself. Okay. And what's important, as I go through, I went through that for you. I want you to understand this because this is important. Whatever that first traffic stop is, the traffic stop I said you're not going to be able to make any sense of, where they're ripping them out of the car, throwing them on the ground, threatening them, pepper spraying each other, tasing them. They're not even charged with criminal conduct with regard to that. This story hadn't even started yet. They're not even charged with criminal conduct having to do with that. First, Tadara Speed and Justin Smith weren't even there. Okay? Now, Haley was there. Martin was there. But they're not even charged with that first traffic stop. Because what happens next, is what we're here for this week. Tyree runs off into the neighborhood where his house is. This neighborhood, like some neighborhoods, not a lot really, some neighborhoods have a couple cameras in them. Okay? In Memphis, these things were put up, they were called Skycop cameras. They're connected to a place less than 2 miles from this building that's called a real-time crime center. Okay, so their camera feed goes to the real-time crime center, which a floor in the real-time crime center has like 30, 40 TV screens with various camera feeds. Now, there's more cameras than there are TVs, so it's not like they're actually constantly monitored. But if something's happening, an officer can hear on the radio, for instance, Castle Gate's one of the streets you can hear, and an officer can access that camera. Okay? This neighborhood has at least 2 of those cameras in it. You'll see one camera that shows Tyree, he's run from the scene, and you'll see him walking through the neighborhood. You'll see sort of one of these police cars drive by, and you'll see him hiding from the police, ducking down between the cars, hiding from these guys. Looking closer to his house, there's another camera. And this camera, these officers didn't know about. This camera catches what we're here for. The camera doesn't have audio. Some of the officers' body cams, you can imagine it's hard to see stuff in body cam, hands, feet, everything. But the body cams have audio. So you'll see some of the body cams, the officers that have body cams on, and you'll hear the audio from the body cams. What we're here for this week is what you see on the camera these guys didn't know about. Doesn't take monsters to kill a man. It took 5 Memphis police officers who were frustrated, who were mad, and who let adrenaline and anger overcome. And we're going to watch it for ourselves. Camera has a swivel. This is in the neighborhood, Castlegate, 1/10 of a mile from where Tyree was pulled over, just hundreds of feet from where his mom lives. The call will come out that the officers are at this intersection right here, and an operator is going to swivel the camera over. right, if you stop here.
Right, I'm gonna stop as well. So, guys, just giving you a warning. This image just might be a bit hard to watch. Make sure if you want to go and outside touch grass, if you want to go and not look, just this is a warning. This is a content warning. Just it's a very, very, very hard to watch. So I'm just letting you know.
All right. So we're going to see two officers here. You'll see this video multiple times in this trial. It helps if you pay attention to the shoes of this man here with the white soles, because if you watch those shoes, you can tell what he's doing. That is Justin Smith, who's one of the defendants on trial. Darius Bean is the other defendant, who's sort of on top of Mr. Nichols right now. Okay? There's a third and fourth man here that you're going to see in a second. It's going to be Desmond Mills, and it's going to be Emmett Martin. I'll let the video play for a while, but let me tell you real quick what you're watching for. Bean and Smith right now sort of on top of Tyree Nichols, definitely not delivering any sort of death blows or anything like that. Tussling or flopping him around, something. But it's Bean and Smith who are sort of on top of him. Okay? You will see Desmond Mills. It may have already happened at this point. It's quick. Goes to pepper spray Nichols again, while Bean and Smith are doing whatever it is they're doing. Okay? And in what I told you was going to be a theme in the case, guess what? Desmond Mills sprays himself. All right? So he sprays himself and he's going to walk. He's going to take a break. Spraying myself in the eyes or whatever. I'm going to take a break from whatever this is. That leaves Bean and Smith on top of Mr. Nichols doing whatever it is they're doing. Okay? That point the video gets graphic because Emmett Martin is also there. And you'll see Emmett Martin walk up to Tyree Nichols as Bean and Smith have him pressed on the ground. And you'll see first what is a catastrophic soccer type kick to his head. Bean and Smith have him pressed down. You'll see Martin with a very strong kick to his head. So Tyrese will collapse a little further on the ground. And you'll see Martin kick him again in the head and the face. You won't see Tyree Nichols throw a punch. You won't see him kick. When you hear the audio, you won't hear him saying the certain words or nothing. He'll take the soccer kick to the head. He'll take the second kick to the head. At that point, Mills, the one that sprayed himself and walked away, he comes back angry. I'm going to baton the fuck out of you. Smith and Bean hold him, position him, and Mills baton strikes Tyree's arm. He'll tell you himself, just because he was mad. 1, 2, 3 times. Bean and Smith have Tyree at that point up. One has one hand, the other has another hand. They've managed at this point, at some point before this, to get one handcuff on one of Tyree's wrists. So they have one hand, they have the other hand. And then Emmett Martin, 2 kicks to the head. He comes back. There's a small strike in the head if you watch it closely by Justin Smith. It's not a death blow. What Martin does next, though, it's real bad. Smith and me hold the hands, and Martin to the face. You'll see Tyree's head snapping back and forth while Dan Smith had his arms. 5, 6 hits. Finally, it's been 4-on-1, and Tyree's the smallest guy. Doesn't throw a punch, doesn't throw a kick, doesn't have a weapon. Finally, they prone him out on the ground. Well, it's over now, right? It's over now, right? I mean, saw her kick to the head. Baton strikes just because you're mad. Holding them while Mark's hitting. Because don't forget about Haley. Don't forget about Haley. Remember when Martin made that traffic stop, there was Martin and there was Haley? What about Haley? He's heard where these guys are, so he's gotten in his car and he's driven there. He gets out the car and yells, "Beat that man's ass." Literally jogs up, has to do a sort of little sidestep. Tyree's totally flat on the ground, 4 or 5 people on him at this point. And he just kicks him just to do it. Don't forget about Haley. And if that's not enough, Martin, I'll better come over there and kick him one more time too. Both big kicks. At this point, there's even other officers. Just watch it. That's Bean Smith. Tyree's on the ground. This is Emmett Martin. That was to his head. Bean Smith on top. That's to his head. Tyree's on the ground. Here comes Mills. I'm going to baton the fuck out of you. Three strikes with the baton. And now you'll start seeing punches to the face. It was huge. It's 5 or 6 punches to the face by Martin while Dan Smith had his hands. This point is over, but here comes Haley. Kicked him. Martin kicked him. Stop. You watch that. You'll hear testimony that Tyree was the smallest of everybody out there. You'll hear that Tyree produced no weapon. You'll hear that Tyree threw no punch. You'll hear that Tyree threw no kick. You'll hear for yourself that Tyree does not say a threatening word from the start to the finish. Instead, because what did I tell you? Where this camera was? Hundreds of feet from his mom's house. You will literally hear him crying for his mom. Yelling for his mom to come. While that's going on. You'll hear the officers saying repeatedly, give me your hands, give me your hands. You'll hear Desmond Mills testify. He had his hands. Dean Smith already had his hands. We're just yelling that so we can keep doing what we're doing. And all 5 of these men, remember the law of criminal responsibility that if you help, it doesn't matter who goes with death blows or not. But also, remember the law that all 5 of them have a duty to intervene. They have a duty to try to protect Tyree Nichols after that soccer kick to the head. How about the kick after that? Or how about all the punches? Or the kicks at the end? They have a duty to stop that from happening, but not a single word from one of them. None of them. Not from Bean, not from Smith, not from Mills, of course not from Martin. You saw what he was doing. Nobody said stop, not even once. Not even one time. What do they do next? He's handcuffed. He is dragged, and I mean literally dragged, over to the side of the police car. That is a police car. They're unmarked police cars. And, over the police car and put on the side of it. Before the emergency personnel can come, because they are called for. They are called for. Before the emergency personnel can come, Tyree is handcuffed, absolutely unresponsive. He does not say a word, an intelligible word. He makes sounds after he calls for his mom. Unresponsive on the police car. You'll see it for yourself. Haley. Remember don't forget about Haley, the one that runs up and beat that man's ass and kicks him. Goes over with his personal cell phone, takes a picture of Tyree so he can send it to his friends. And these men have a duty to protect him. They have a duty to protect him, so what do they do when the emergency personnel responds? Do they tell them, look, he's gotten some hits to his head? Nope. Do they even make up a story like he fell and hit his head? Nope. They tell the emergency personnel, oh, he must be on drugs or something. He got pepper sprayed. But not a word. Hey, check his head out. You saw his head snap back up a bit while they had him. Not a word. And it goes on for minutes and minutes. The officers walk away. They motion, hey, take off your body camera. They step on the side, but you can still hear what they're saying. Man, we hit them with so many pieces. That's what they say, that's what they call it. We were all rocking. Martin starts making up crazy stories about the traffic stop. He was driving on the wrong side of the road. He swung at me. While Tyree literally sits there on the camera. You'll also see him collapse over in handcuffs there at the side. Sits there dying. Not a word from any of these 5 men about hit to the head, trauma, to the head or anything. Did they wake up that morning? There will be no proof that they woke up that morning planning on killing somebody. Like I said, not monsters, but men, overcome by anger and frustration and overcome by the moment, who literally beat a man to death, and they all had a part. Can we agree Emmett Martin was the worst? Yeah, we can. But they all had a part, and they all had a legal duty to stop it. Tyree Nichols is the victim's name. We're going to ask for justice for Tyree. This happened because these officers were overcome, reason one, and reason two, because they didn't know that Paul Cameron was there. Justice for Tyree. These men, reasonably certain that the side kick to the head, the next kick, the huge haymakers while they hold them, reasonably certain to cause death, that's murder second. Each and every one of them criminally responsible for two reasons. They took part in it, but even beyond that, they had a duty to stop it. Aggravated assault acting in concert. 5 of them. They cause serious bodily injury? Yeah. Do they do it together? Yeah. Do they have a duty to stop it? Yeah. Aggravated kidnapping. Not talking about ransom notes. It's the illegal confinement, the false imprisonment of a person that either causes bodily injury, or the people doing the false imprisonment have guns. Well, they're Memphis police officers, they have guns. They're not alleged to have used the guns, but the fact they're armed is one of the elements of aggravated kidnapping. Is a police officer allowed to arrest somebody? Of course they are. Maybe even earlier they were allowed to arrest Tyree Nichols. But at some point, after that soccer kick to the head, or maybe after the second one, or maybe after that huge, huge shot that Martin takes, this ain't no legal arrest anymore. Tyree is purely and 100% a victim, and those men have him in prison falsely while they keep on hitting him and kicking him. Those men have him in prison falsely when he's handcuffed next to the patrol car, and they're not even telling the medical personnel about the head wounds. Official misconduct. They had a duty not to do this. Official oppression. They had a duty not to do this, and they put Tyree through hell. At the end of this, that's what we're going to ask you for. Justice for Tyree Nichols.
Right. So that was wow. That is crazy. Uh, Winko. Oh, and CVS. What's Winko? Here. What's Winko? I don't know. It's that I never heard of that store. But yeah. So here we don't have 24 hours anymore since COVID. There's no more 24 hours store. So what do you guys think about that? About that openings? That's it's a grocery store, right? It's another store for me to go and spend some more money. Great, awesome, fantastic. Uh, so what do you guys think of that openings? I think it did very well, and like this is the difference between the trial that we are currently covering and this trial. This trial that we just saw the openings for, absolutely 100% without a doubt, I think they are guilty. They are crazy that they have pled out guilty. But the trial that we are currently covering, the Sure trial, that is a completely different case. That's a completely different matter. That it was indeed William, Hannah. Sorry, yeah, I saw both of your comments together in one. That's why I said William. But I agree. Super guilty, William. I 100% agree. We still gonna keep following this case. I think they might. I don't know where they are. If the defense as arrested or not, but when they go on verdict watch, we'll be on verdict watch for that one. So and I was, yeah, sure, yeah, completely agree, Hannah. That's the difference between the two trials, and that's the good comparison we can do between this trial and we have basically almost the same situation, not even almost same situation, but we have situations that are very, very similar. Both traffic stops, both involving cops, both involving a person that was driving. So it's very similar situations, but completely and same outcomes. Both were unalived, but one is completely different than the other one, and that's why I wanted to see. um well, we can come, buckle up, we're gonna get sangria. But the thing, actually, I was gonna, like, we were just gonna chit chat a little bit more, but I want to do these live streams on Sunday, but I also want to keep them in a way short-ish. Yes, CVS is a pharmacy, but they also sell grocery items, apparently, Hannah. It's not just pharmacy. They sell, I think, food, some food and household items, I think, mainly. But yeah, um yeah, so like my goal with this Sunday live streams is just we can chill, we can talk about true crime, we can watch stuff that we did not have time to watch over in the during the week. It is either going to be on a Saturday, either going to be on a Sunday. It depends on also my life, because normally I want to enjoy, family time and like everybody else. But if I have like an hour or 2 hours spare, I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna hang out with you guys, obviously during the weekend. During the week, you guys, I'm all yours, and you have me Monday to Friday, absolutely. But I also want to catch up. There's so much that I want to watch, and I like, why not watch with friends? So that's what we're gonna try to do on here. And yeah, so, but like I was saying, I think I'm gonna leave the live here for today. I had a lot of fun with you all. I hope that you guys have a great rest of Sunday. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy May the 4th be with you. It's my time. We are going to be back live tomorrow, 9:15 in the morning Eastern, for the carry on of the short trial. Hopefully we won't fall asleep. And you guys made my Sunday the best, the rest of my Sunday the best. You have fun with your Cinco de Mayo festivities. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day, afternoon, wherever you are, evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
And I'm a real-time crime professional.